Welcome, everybody. The time is now 3:30 and I call the December 19th, 2023 meeting of the St. Joseph County Area Plan Commission to order. This meeting is being held in person and virtually on the fourth floor of the council chambers of the County City Building. We will first ask for any public comment and those in the chambers, and then for members in the public standing remotely. For public comment for those attending remotely, please use the raise hand function or message the host in the chat. Please clearly state your name and address for the record. We ask that board members state their name when making a motion and a second. Please silence your cell phones as well so they do not disturb the meeting. With that, may we have roll call, please, Shelley?
Mr. Devon,
Present?
Mr. Hawley,
President.
Mr. Krasinski,
Present.
Ms. Hannon,
Present.
Mr. England,
Present.
Ms. McCombs,
Present.
Ms. Gendron,
Present.
Dr. Thacker,
Present.
and Mr. Tavernier.
I am here.
Thank you, Shelley. We are a 9-member commission and we have a full presence here. We have 8 members present, 1 attending virtually. With that, other announcement for the rezoning, item B1 has been tabled prior to this meeting, has been asked to table to next month meeting, correct? Yep. So that has been tabled, which I believe was tabled last month as well too. So with that, can we have a reading for A1, please?
Combined hearing number 1, a combined public hearing on a proposed ordinance of Roush Lance D in Victoria L. HW seeking a special use to allow a campground seasonal per section 154.091 sub B5 and seeking the following variances from section 154.092 sub B to allow for 162 feet of lot frontage where 200 feet is required, and from section 154.092 sub D to allow parking areas with a side setback of 15 feet where 30 feet is required. Also seeking primary approval of Shamrock Hills RV Park minor subdivision to be located on the east side of State Road 931 Highway, approximately 1,250 feet north of Roy Croft Drive, 62516 US 31 South and 62516 US 31 South, St. Joseph County, APC application number 3024-23.
Good afternoon. This is Carl Brown Grimm, Area Plan Commission staff. So today we have a combined hearing that involves 3 items. The first will be sending a special use recommendation to the county council. Then you'll be deciding 2 variances, one related to the use and then one related to the proposed subdivision. And then third, you'll be reviewing the proposed subdivision, which is something that not many of you have done before, outside of Bobby Kay, who serves on the plat committee, who usually reviews these. So we'll get into it. The subject property is located at 62516 US 31 South. It's nestled between Old State Road 931 and the new US 31 Highway. The petitioners are seeking a special use to allow for a seasonal RV campground at this location. They're also requesting 2 variances, one for relief from the setback requirement for parking areas, and then the second one is for relief from the required lot width. Finally, because the subject parcel was designated as an unbuildable outlot when it was replatted back in 2007, they are also seeking approval of a minor subdivision to designate this lot as buildable. We'll get into the special use first. Here is the site looking east from the main entrance. As you will see, the site has one main drive going through it, which the petitioners are proposing to improve and then add parking stalls for potential RVs. Looking a little further east and then north on this site, here you can see some of the existing screening that will constitute the required type 1 landscaping along the abutting lot lines. This is the southeastern portion of the property. The drive goes into a little loop here. Here is the abutting residential property. It's also owned by the petitioner, I believe. The variance requested for the reduced parking setback encroaches on this property approximately 15 feet from where this fence is. Access to the site will be off of State Road 931. Here you can see the road looking north and looking south. Here's the site plan provided by the petitioner. Again, they're proposing a seasonal campground aimed primarily for RV traffic. The campground will meet all Indiana Department of Health and Indiana Department of Environmental Management requirements for sanitation and water service. And this site plan here does show the 15-foot distance between the western 4 parking stalls to the residential property to the north. So because this is a more complicated combined hearing, I'm going to recommend that we do this one at a time. So first up, we have the recommendation to the county council for the use. Taking a look at that, staff finds that there will be no impact on the public health, safety, or welfare to the surrounding community. As I mentioned, the campground will follow all state requirements with regard to the water and sanitation services and will be screened with a natural type 1 landscaping found on site from abutting lot lines. Because of the location of the site nestled between those 2 major highways and the presence of vacant land near the development, staff does not expect the use to adversely affect the value of the surrounding area. The use would be consistent with the agricultural district, especially given the relatively limited agricultural value of the surrounding property. Most of the existing campground uses in the county are zoned A agricultural. And this use is analogous to other permitted uses in the district, such as private passive parks. Finally, the use is not incompatible with the recommendations of the comprehensive plan. The 2002 land use map designates the area directly north of this property as commercial reserve. However, due to the new construction of the US 31 highway, we would expect the commercial viability of this property and the adjacent area to have increased in recent years, and that is shown by the commercial zoning further south of this property. So staff does recommend a favorable recommendation to the county council, and I would be happy to answer any questions at this point.
Thank you, Carl. So we're gonna do one presentation, or are we doing like 3 different, how we want to handle this?
Yeah, I don't think we did. I'm just checking.
We just need to vote on them separately, right?
Yeah.
That would be my guess. I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. Separate votes, but the
Do one
hearing could be,
Presentation, right? Not doing anything, it's all one.
yeah.
Nothing else for the special use, but I was thinking we public hearing and then.
Let's do it as one. And then just vote 3 different times.
Okay. We can do that.
Yeah, there's nothing to the contrary. You can decide which
Mhm.
direction you want to go.
Let's do it all as one presentation, one public hearing, and then vote 3 different.
Okay. In that case, Shelley, could you click on the PowerPoint? Okay. So then we'll move on to the variances. As a recap, the petitioner is seeking a variance for lot width for the proposed lot B. And they're also looking to allow for parking within that side yard setback. Staff does recommend approval for both variances. Approval of the setback parking variance would only have an impact on the residential property on the site to the north. But as you have seen, this property is already screened by a privacy fence in the area where the parking will be. Additionally, there will be more type 1 landscaping along the rest of the shared lot line. The parking will be semi-transient and the campground use is of seasonal nature. So we don't expect this to have a negative impact on the nearby property values. Finally, there is practical difficulty in this case because meeting that 30-foot parking setback from that property would cause the parking stalls to shift down and encroach on the setback of the southern lot line, which is less preferable given the number of parking stalls and the lot line length there. Approval of the lot width variance should have no tangible impact on the surrounding area other than making the residential lot slightly larger than it currently is. Other lots along this corridor also appear to be non-conforming with regard to that 200-foot width requirement. So the variance should not affect the use and value of surrounding properties. And then finally, there is practical difficulty in this case in that the strict application of the terms of the ordinance would prevent the petitioner the ability to build on a lot that was made unbuildable due to a taking by the state of Indiana. So staff does recommend approval of both variances, subject to the special use being approved by the county council. And I would be happy to answer any questions if you have them at this point for the variances.
I guess I have a question.
Sure.
Maybe, when, they make the presentation. Do we have any kind of a, car count as to the traffic going back and forth on 31?
Like currently?
Yes.
I could get that for you in just a second. Maybe they could give their presentation and then I could come back with that number for you.
Thank you.
Then the subdivision.
Yep. So if there are no more questions, we can move on to the subdivision. This is the last part of the combined hearing today. This involves the approval of the Shamrock Hills RV Park minor subdivision. This action is necessary, as I said, to convert the property that we've been talking about, so lot B here, into a buildable lot. As you might know, Area Plan Commission has the ability to approve subdivisions. Subdivisions should be approved if they meet the requirements of the subdivision ordinance. So I'm going to read the staff report. That's typically what we do for major subdivisions. So Shamrock Hills RV Park, this minor primary subdivision is located on the east side of State Road 931, approximately 1,250 feet north of Roycroft Drive. The subdivision will consist of 2 building lots. The total area is 8.78 acres. A check of the agency's maps indicate the presence of wetlands on proposed lot B. The rights of way are correct as shown. The site will be served by private well and private waste removal. The county surveyor, county health department, and county engineer all recommend approval. The subdivision went through technical review on November 16th, 2023, where they received comments. The professional land surveyor on behalf of the applicant requests the following waiver from section 153.135H to allow for one 25-foot opening across the 5-foot non-access easement for each of lots A and B for continued access onto State Road 931 highway. And staff has reviewed the subdivision and finds that if the waiver is granted, it complies with the requirements for primary approval as specified by the St. Joseph County Subdivision Control Ordinance. The staff therefore recommends that the subdivision be granted primary approval. Yes. Shelley, would you mind clicking again on the PowerPoint? So what we would require next is a motion for the waivers. This would allow for the drive openings on both lots A and B. This is supported by staff and the county engineer. Following approval of waivers, we could have a motion for primary approval of the subdivision. And if you have any questions regarding this portion, I can answer that now.
You want to explain the primary, secondary for those that might not be familiar with that?
Yeah, so primary approval is basically given by the board that says that this does meet the requirements of the St. Joseph County Subdivision Ordinance after being reviewed by all the agencies. Following primary approval given by you, secondary approval is handled by staff, and that's administrative.
Thank you. Any questions before we go to the petitioner? Petitioner Brian Lance?
We're going to tag team or double team this for you. So I'm Brian McMorrow of V3 Companies, 460 Stull Street in South Bend. And joining me is the petitioner.
Lance Roush, 17850 New Road, Bremen, Indiana.
So Lance and his wife retained our firm earlier this year to assist them with the proposal that's been outlined here today. And Carl and Abby have done a nice job of giving you a real good overview. I want to highlight the fact that the relatively recent construction of US 31 has forever, changed the characteristics of this area of the county. I took a look back on the Maycog historical photos. And you can almost see it here on this photograph, the Lot B, which is the area to be developed for the RV campground. The lot lines, if they're extended across the highway there's another 7 or 8 acres on the other side of the highway that in the late 90s, early 2000s was combined with this tract. So it was a more traditional agriculturally zoned piece of property of roughly 20 acres. Again, the taking by the state for the highway has changed the characteristics of that. Lance and his wife bought this property just last year. There was an earlier subdivision by Paul Horvath in 2009 that set aside Lot A, which is the single family dwelling, which has access to US old 931 today. Single family dwelling with a driveway. The area crosshatched in blue was an outlot that was not to have been developed. So we're here today to reconfigure the lot line between lots A and B just a little bit so as to put the septic system for the single family dwelling, which actually partially exists on the lot as currently configured, so that single family dwelling and septic system is on its own lot. We will continue to share a driveway on 931. Because it's a state highway, it's completely INDOT jurisdiction there. We covered that ground with Sky at the PAT meeting. My recollection when looking at INDOT's traffic counts is that there's like 3,400 cars a day. Carl, were you able to?
Yep.
So my recollection is pretty good there. I haven't lost it yet.
Sorry, it's-
And preliminary conversations with INDOT suggest that, we're going to be granted our approval there because we're just going to modestly widen the driveway from 20 feet to about 30 feet. Sight distance is good in either direction. Traffic generated by this project is pretty insignificant, and the traffic moving on the highway is well below that which can be accommodated by the highway. So I think you saw the site plan that we had prepared. If things go well this afternoon and this evening at the Land Use Committee, we're going to proceed to finalize that and get the commercial site plan over to Sky for his review and a SWIP as well. Lance, do you want to just talk about what your intentions are for the campground, who its market is?
Yeah, I originally bought this parcel with the thought of making it storage, rezoning it to commercial, and that clearly wasn't going to be something that was going to work out. And as a Class A RV guy myself, I'm familiar with how that works and the people that do this. And there's a huge supply and demand issue out there nationwide. And with the proximity to Notre Dame and everything else, this is something I decided to hire Brian and move forward on it. And hopefully it meets all my expectations and works out well. If not, I will be living in parcel 1 by myself. So, but it's really pretty straightforward. Bob, to your question about traffic, I mean, I'm a Southie. Old 31 has become a gigantic, overgrown, newly paved county road. I don't even look when I pull out. And it's kind of a unique parcel in that the adjacent parcels to the north, I mean, it's my opinion, but are one step from the houses being torn down. One of them has a cemetery on the adjacent parcel to the north of me. The one to the south has a 24-inch gas main running diagonally across it, and the rest of it's wetlands. So I'm kind of uniquely positioned to do something out here that's low impact and has good visibility from the new highway and close proximity to 2 exits.
Lance.
That's the story.
Any questions by commission?
I do have a question. I noticed that in the presentation that they have to provide a well, right?
Mhm.
How does that well work? I mean, I don't understand. I'm not I've never camped in my life, so I don't know do you provide water to each one? of
Yeah,
those?
that's a good question. This is gonna be kind of what we call a full hookup situation. There's actually gonna be 100 amp electric service metered to each site. Because the new RVs are requiring so much electricity. And there will be, we're guessing, we don't have it nailed down yet, but probably a 5-inch well, just like we do 4-inch wells with residential. On demand situation, and then zone valved out to the 3 lines of RV pads. And I'm gonna go ahead and bury them fairly deep, but I don't intend to have this open in inclement weather. I intend for this to be a April through Thanksgiving kind of thing.
Is that metered or how does that water?
What's that? The water?
water system that
Mm-mm.
goes-
No, it just has to maintain by the that's not State Health Department, that's IDEM manages the well or the water situation. And it has to maintain, I believe, 40 pounds minimum at all times. So we're probably going to oversize it, but it will literally be pumping water to all the valves on all those sites. And then there will be along those lines, an on-site septic holding system. Part of what makes this situation work is that the state passed an ordinance to hold up to 10,000 gallons of effluent on site for campgrounds. Otherwise, with groundwater being what it is, I would never get a septic system on this property,
Gonna ask that question.
especially for 30 campers.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions by staff, otherwise, or commission?
Can I, just a quick clarification, the traffic count is 5,300.
So it's according to our MACOG regional traffic count, just a little bit south actually is where the count is at Madison and Old 31 or Dixie Highway. It's about 5,300, 5,200 average daily.
Thank you. I will now open this to the public. Is there anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please come forward. Seeing none. Is there anybody online wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none. Is there anybody present wishing to speak against this petition? Please come forward and state your name and address. Oh, I see a hand. Was that for in favor?
It's against.
No, it's against.
Okay. Anybody go ahead speaking against this petition, please? I can't see the screen. Linda?
Go ahead, Miss Linda.
Hi, my name is Linda Johnson. Do you need my property address?
Yes, please.
62768 US 31 South.
Go ahead.
I'm fearful of this petition being granted in the fact that this is a 30 unit, from what I understand, campsite, that there's no guarantee that you're not going to get somebody in there that's going to squat, that's going to maintain a common nuisance, that's going to cause some kind of detrimental from my property to yours, which is literally 4 houses down. My questions to you are, how do you propose that you're going to restrict? Are you going to vet out the campers that you allow in? Are the campers going to be allowed to maintain all year? What is your ability to make sure that we don't have a travel trailer campground like on Locust Road with indigent people and unsavory individuals?
Thank you, Linda. He'll have a chance to answer that after we're done. Anybody else wishing to speak against this petition? Please use the raise hand feature.
Nobody else.
Seeing nobody, petitioner Brian Lance have a chance to rebut or answer.
Do I need to restate?
Nope.
Okay. I believe it was Linda. I appreciate your question, actually. I meant to address that in the presentation to the board. I'm trying to choose my words carefully. The easiest answer would be because it's going to be so expensive that they could actually live in a hotel and probably save money. And second of all, I'm mean. I just won't allow that to be on my property. And if there would be no way to stipulate it. The only thing I could think to say is, trust me, I'm the last person that would allow that. And that's one of the reasons that I don't intend to have it open year round. If the only situation that I've even thought of where year round would be entertained through the winter, in other words, would be if we turn into that place in North Dakota when they had the fracking and there's nowhere for people to live, and the county comes to me and says, hey, we have workers for the battery plant that need a place to stay. There could be that situation. But as far as it turning into, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know exactly where you're talking about. I absolutely would not tolerate that. This is going to be a gated situation where people can only come in if they've prepaid and have a code. And incidentally, for the board's knowledge, I've spoken with the fire department about that. They'll have an access code as well. The idea is that this is going to be kind of a white glove treatment, pretty high end, catering to higher end RVs. And it will be literally too expensive for people to just camp out and make that their home.
Thank you, Lance.
Lance, does somebody sign an agreement, or do you, is that, you just pay the money up front and then they can come in? How does that work?
Yeah, well, both. They're not coming in if they don't pay first. And yeah, there will be a provision. I'm looking into a lot of kind of comprehensive software packages that take care of all that. Like somebody driving down the new highway and says, oh, I'm tired. There's an RV park and there's an exit coming up down here at State Road 4. They pull it up on their phone. They can just click pay with a credit card. And then if they want to download the app, literally Bluetooth the gate open when they pull in, when the gate knows their phone's there because they're paid. Or they could pull in and do it at a kiosk and punch in a code if, you know, they have a flip phone or something. So yeah, it's going to be pretty secure, and the word exclusive, I don't want to make it sound like it's going to be prohibitive to stay there, but you know, we're going to be approaching $100 a night for full hookup, secure, well-lit place to go.
Would somebody stay there for 30 days? Likely or unlikely?
Probably unlikely.
I'm learning here. Thank you.
It's an expensive sport, Bob. Good.
Okay,
May I ask some
with-
follow-up questions?
No, public comments over. With that, we have a complex voting here. If we have any other comments, questions by the commission here, the first one being the special use. We have to vote on the special use first. Does anybody have any comments, questions, or do we have a motion for the special use?
I have one question.
Yes.
Dipping back into a previous meeting where we approved a text amendment, I believe, for campgrounds. Can you refresh my memory what that was exactly?
Sure. Staff had put forward a text amendment to allow campgrounds to be not seasonal. Presently, they're only permitted seasonally within the ordinance, and to add a definition of campground to the zoning ordinance. Due to some concerns that were voiced at the county council committee meeting for that text amendment, we ultimately withdrew it and intend to bring forward an amended request or an amended proposal that has some more definitive language about what seasonal and temporary what specifically temporary occupancy is. But because it was ultimately withdrawn, any new proposal would first have to come to you all and then go on to the county council.
Thank you.
So with that, unless there's any other questions, we need to vote on the special use first.
I make a motion that we give a favorable recommendation for the special use on 3024-23.
Bob Hawley, second that.
Just to clarify, are we giving a recommendation on special use or are we actually approving the special use?
Recommendation.
Okay. We have a
Mr.
motion and a second to approve the special use for APC 3024-23. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
and Mr. Devon.
Yes.
Hey, you skipped me.
DJ.
Mr. Tavernier.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next, we have the two variances that we have to approve or deny.
Do those separate.
I think we can do them together, can't we? As long as it's in the motion.
Okay. Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we pass both variances, the two variances with a favorable recommendation.
Bob Hawley, I'll second that motion.
We have a motion, a second to approve both variances for APC 3024-23. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. Next, we have the subdivision, which there's two votes on that as well, too, correct? We have the not a variance. We have the waiver. The waiver.
Grant waiver.
There's two waivers,
Approval of primary.
Just one waiver? or two?
Just one waiver.
one waiver, that's what I thought.
Yep, waiver from the subdivision ordinance. And then it will be after that.
And we're approving the waiver and the subdivision, correct?
That's correct.
We're not sending it to council.
Granting primary approval, yes.
Can I make a motion? I make Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we grant the waiver for 302423.
Second. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second to approve the waivers for APC 3024-23 for the subdivision. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motions pass. Now last, we have the approval of the primary approval for the subdivision.
And we approve that.
We do.
Okay. Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we approve the primary subdivision under 3024-23.
Brittany Gendron, I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve the subdivision as presented with the waivers. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Can we have a reading for rezoning for item number 2, please?
A proposed ordinance of University of Notre Dame, Duloc to rezone from R single family to U University District. Unaddressed property plus or minus 2.34 acres comprising of 10 parcels located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Twickenham Drive and Van Ness Street. St. Joseph County, APC application number 3025-23.
Good afternoon, Farial Sharif, Area Plan Commission staff. This is the first of 2 Notre Dame rezonings we have on the agenda today. This petition concerns 10 parcels off Twickenham Drive. They are actually part of the soccer or athletic fields on the west side of the road. These 10 parcels are currently zoned residential, and the proposal is to rezone them to match the zoning of the rest of the fields and the university campus. The rest of the athletic fields are already zoned U University as part of one larger parcel of land. So that's what's in green on that aerial. There is a pedestrian and bike walkway that runs between the parcels, and at least part of that walkway facing the road is included in this petition. These pictures should give a better idea of the location I'm talking about. This is looking north down Twickenham from the east side of the road. There are some single-family homes on this side of the road, zoned R single family. What we're talking about is those athletic fields behind the fence. Here is basically from the same spot, but turned around toward Edison Road. Directly across. This is from the pedestrian walkway on the west side of the road on the property in question. North of these parcels is the Overlook Apartments and retail areas, zone PUD. This is south from the walkway looking toward Edison. And this is looking inside from that inner walkway. So if you're thinking back to the aerial map, to the right on this picture is like the upper north parcels containing parts of one athletic field. And to the left is the lower south parcels containing the other athletic fields closer to Melissa Cook Stadium. So then looking north and north toward Van Ness, and then looking to the south. All right. Staff is recommending this rezoning be sent to the county council with a favorable recommendation. The athletic fields have been there since at least the 1990s. There are no other proposed changes other than the rezoning. Athletic fields are a primary use in the university district, so this is the most desirable use and classification. The rezoning will provide for consistent zoning across the parcels containing the fields with no additional anticipated impact to the area or property values. Finally, it is in line with the comp plan and responsible growth and development, just basically a cleanup of the zoning here. And I can take any questions about it at this time.
Thank you. Questions? Otherwise, we have
Well,
the.
I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at the picture up there that you had, and I noticed this fence right there. How tall is that fence?
I did not measure it.
I guess 10 foot. I drive through there every day to go to Martin's.
Did we have to approve that?
I'm not sure.
Question.
I will say, you know, it's probably been there for a while and we did not start requiring permits for fences.
Very attractive.
Very nice.
It's a nice fence.
Security fence, I would think, but that's just a question in my mind.
No, I,
Fences
for
are-
sure.
Headache.
You know.
Yes, as you know,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. May we have the petitioner, please?
Good afternoon. This is Angela Smith with Dance Harner Associates. Office is located at 1643 Commerce Drive. I apologize that my video is not working, but I'm happy to be here with you guys. You'll appreciate me not coming in as I'm quarantined for COVID. So bear with me in my voice today. This is a bit of housekeeping being done by the University of Notre Dame. I don't think most people, unless you were in the zoning field looking at that map, would even know that these properties weren't zoned U University. This is the second step of the process. Mike Danch came through recently through the county council for alley vacations for some paper alleys that have existed in here that date back as far as we could find on the maps. Once that was completed, the next step was then to bring this in to the University zoning. As staff mentioned, we are not planning any changes to the property. It's simply to bring all of the properties into the same zoning classification. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Angela. Good, Bob?
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
All right, we'll go ahead and open this to the public comment. Is there anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please come forward, state your name and address.
Good afternoon again. I'm Brian McMorrow with V3 Companies, 460 Stull Street in South Bend. I'm also the site civil engineer for Toll Brothers, the developer of the 10-acre piece of property just to the east of the lands that are shown on the east side of Twickenham. And I consulted with my client earlier this week, knowing that this was on the agenda, and they wanted me to share with you and with the applicant their full support of the petition to rezone to university. So thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Anybody else? Seeing none, is there anybody online wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none. Anybody present here wishing to speak against this petition? Again, see none. Anybody online wishing to speak against this petition, you please use the raise hand feature. Again, see none. I will now close this to the public. Any last comments, questions? Otherwise, may we have a motion, please?
Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we pass 3025-23 with a favorable recommendation.
Bob Hawley will second that.
And that is being sent to the county council for
Yeah.
approval. We have a motion a second to send APC 3025-23 to the county council with a favorable recommendation. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. Reading petition number 3, please.
A proposed ordinance of University of Notre Dame Duloc to zone from R single family to U University District. Unaddressed property plus or minus 0.74 acres comprising of 2 parcels located at northwest of the intersection of Twickenham Drive and Bullough Road. St. Joseph County, APC application number 3026-23.
All right, Fariel Sharif, Area Plan Commission staff. So a similar request, like the last petition, these are 2 parcels owned by the university, and they want to rezone it from residential to university district to match the abutting properties. This one is located off Bullough and Twickenham intersection near to Fisher Residences, which are graduate student apartments. There did used to be a single family home on this property on the lower parcel facing Bullough Road. The home was removed when the property was sold to Notre Dame around 2019, and it currently sits vacant. We'll go through the pictures. The property in question is a portion of those woods to the right. You can see the Fisher Residences next to it. There is a Notre Dame-owned parking lot across from the road, and the rest of the campus is beyond it, which are old zoned university. Here's a slightly better view. Here is looking at it again from the intersection of Bullough Road and Twickenham. The walkway is not part of this property. And here is a view after I crossed the street and walked along Twickenham. I had a nice walk that day. Staff is recommending this rezoning be sent to the county council with a favorable recommendation. The property has been vacant. There are no other proposed changes at this time beyond the rezoning. The most desirable use of the property would be to support Notre Dame's investments and allow it to be utilized in the future for uses allowed in the university district. Nearby property is owned by or part of the university, so there is no additional anticipated impact to property values. It is in line with the comp plan and responsible growth and development. Again, this action will just provide for more consistent zoning in the university area, and I can take any questions.
No questions. I will now ask for the petition. The petitioner, please.
Again, Angela Smith with Dan Harner Associates, offices located at 1643 Commerce Drive. Again, this is part of some housekeeping and cleanup from the University of Notre Dame. There's some remnant parcels here that followed the realignment of Twickenham. Once acquired by the university, it became part of the efforts to have everything under the university ownership that lies west of Twickenham zoned U University. There aren't any plans or immediate plans for this parcel or development. It's just simply bringing all the site into the same zoning classification. I would be happy to answer any questions and respectfully request your favorable recommendation.
Thank you, Angela. Any questions?
Are we doing both of these at the same time? Because these are two six.
It's two parcels right here. See that red line?
Yeah,
There's two parcels.
so we're doing that and what she's got up here at the same time.
So they are two parcels, but since they're in the same ownership, they're considered as one zoning lot. So we can just send them with one action, like one
Okay.
favorable
that's what I was
petition. Yeah.
trying to- Thank you.
Mhm.
I will now open this to the public. Is there anybody present wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Please come forward. And see none. Anybody online wishing to speak against or in favor of this petition, please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none. Anybody present wishing to speak against this petition? Seeing none. Anybody online wishing to speak against this petition, please use the raise hand feature. Seeing none, I will now close this to the public. If there's no questions, may we have a motion?
Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion on 3026-23 that we send it with a favorable recommendation.
Bob Holly, second that.
We have a motion and a second to send APC 3026-23 to the county council with a favorable recommendation. All those, I'm sorry, we roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. Motion carries. That concludes our items requiring a public hearing. We do have a few other items under miscellaneous that we need to address. We have findings of the facts.
Can we handle both of those at the same time?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, Bob Hawley makes a motion that we approve the finding of the facts for the September 19th and the October 17th meeting, 2023.
I'll second that. Elizabeth McCombs.
A motion is second to approve the findings of the facts for September 19th and October 17th of 2023. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs.
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. We also have to approve the meeting schedules for both the Plan Commission and the Plat Committee, which is attached in your packet. If anybody has any conflicts or issues. I think we need a motion on that, right? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we go ahead and pass the Division of Planning and Zoning Area Plan Commission 2024 Area Planning Commission calendar with combined public hearings. Right? And the plat committee.
Brittany.
We have a motion, a second, and I think a third. To approve the 2024 meeting schedules for the Area Plan Commission and the Plat Committee. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. But Abby.
My report is included in your packets. Oh, nope, sorry. Sorry. Got ahead of myself. All right. We have a request to amend the bylaws on the agenda for you all today. We are requesting first to suspend the section of the bylaws that requires that we present an update to the bylaws to you at one meeting and then to be voted on at the next meeting. So that is the first motion that would need to happen.
Yeah, but they should get told why we want them to. do
All
that.
right, so while reviewing all of your terms and appointments and the officers in the bylaws, it came to my attention that the vice president and president shall serve for a maximum of 3 consecutive terms. Adam would be ineligible to continue serving as president. I've talked with a number of you that would not like to be president and would like to see Adam continue. Yeah, does a fantastic job, right?
It was not unanimous.
So just by comparison, we have bylaws or rules of procedure rather for BZA. DJ is our president on BZA. There is no there is no term limit for BZA chair, but there is for area plan. So asking you to suspend the rule in the bylaws that makes me present a change at one meeting and then vote on it at the next, and then asking for your approval to amend the bylaws to remove the term limit so that Adam can continue to serve in his capacity as president.
Is there any reason why? I guess why that is in there in the first place, so people are aware, like the one step.
It's a common thing for like most boards operate that way so that you can't just like spring something on people that would be totally odious and onerous. That's generally why it's in there.
Is this something that is set up by the individual boards throughout the state?
No,
It's not a state requirement.
No, we're talking about purely procedural things that
Right.
you guys decided on yourselves.
Okay.
Someone decided.
This
With-
board approved these rules.
For a
but they are
bylaw
very
change,
diverse.
we need a 2/3.
Do you know when that came into effect? I mean, I'm thinking of Carl King. I'm going way back.
Wow, okay.
And I think Carl was here for a century.
That was actually, look, and it turns out that rule was in the bylaws even when he was serving forever and ever. So
Really?
it's a rule that's been in there, but I would say your past practice has not
Reflected
particularly
it.
conformed.
We didn't, okay.
So this would bring the rules into conformance with your actual practice.
not that I want jokingly comments from the peanut gallery, but Angela said he would serve for
al-
3 years, replace for 1 year, and then vote back in. Has always been in the bylaws.
And Carl's the one that brought me on too, and he was there forever as well too. Great guy. So we do
We're-
need
So the first
2/3.
would be a motion to suspend the provision of Article 17 requiring separate meetings for amendments.
Okay, Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion that we do away with the Article 17,
Yeah, to suspend it
just to suspend it
in relation to the 2 meeting requirement.
in relation to the 2 meeting requirements.
Brittany Gendron, I'll second your motion.
We have a motion, a second to amend the APC bylaws by suspending the,
Now it's just the suspension of that
Oh.
part. So
okay. Just suspending the
17th section.
17th section. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes.
So now would be the motion to remove
Section 4.
the Article 4, Section 3, and to renumber that article appropriately.
Right. Elizabeth McCombs, I make a motion to suspend Article 4, Section 3.
Remove it.
Remove it, excuse me, to remove it.
Bob Hawley, I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to remove Article 4, Section 3 of the APC bylaws. We have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yes.
Mr. Devon.
Yes. I guess.
Congratulations, friend.
Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of looking forward to that year off.
You did a great job.
Executive Director's report.
All right, sorry, I jumped the gun earlier.
Abby, can I interrupt you for,
Sure.
how did we decide the number of board members that we need for the area?
That's state statute.
Pardon?
That's a state statute.
That is a state statute. Okay.
Yep.
Does that depend upon population or how is that,
There's,
determined?
so there's area advisory metro and it's different depending on what it is. And then it
And
can
also
be
we're
different.
weird Because ours has been around for a long time, so.
Mhm.
I do think though, even an area for ours being 9 members, it's dependent on population
Mhm.
as well. Yeah. It's like less than 300,000, something like that.
So, yeah, we
Yeah,
have
that-
special provisions in the statute specifically for our county based on our population.
Yeah.
For area. And it's all very complicated. It is not an isolated incident where one of you or one of the area board of zoning appeals members will come to me and ask, how did I get here? Who is my appointing authority? Because it can get confusing. DJ, Molly, Liz, Tom, you all are easy. Well, Liz, you're kind of complicated. You're,
she is.
you're
The town advisory board is appointed.
town advisory board between Roseland and Lakeville. Tom's North Liberty, Molly's New Carlisle, and DJ is Osceola, right? You are all the town appointments. Bob, I think, and Adam, I think you're both county council.
Yeah.
County council citizen. No, sorry, you're both county council. Bobby K, just being county surveyor. Brittany, you're on for in place of ANR because ANR, agricultural and natural resources educator does not reside in the county.
Correct.
Oh, Dr. Thacker,
Yeah.
superintendent. So you all are fitting a very specific role or very, very specific eligibility for appointment in the state statute.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can do it again for VCA too. All right, so there's a summary of past petitions in your packet. The one that is notable that wasn't approved, Molly, you already asked me about, is the campground definition that staff ultimately withdrew. It is our full intention to bring that back before you, but with additional clarity around seasonal or temporary occupancy, as I mentioned earlier. have an update on the comprehensive plan. We sent updates out to everyone on the email list and posted updates on where we are on social media. Staff has completed our initial review of the plan. All of our edits are to the consultant. The consultant is working hard to turn around a draft. We will recommence public engagement in the first few months of 2024. New Carlisle is also working on their comprehensive plan that Carl's working with MACOG on. Do we have any other meetings scheduled for public input?
There'll be one more public input.
One more public input
Once the
meeting
draft is done.
for New Carlisle, and if I have that date, I'll put it in my staff or in my report for you. We have dusted off the IEC overlay. We're starting to work on that again on the full version. We're completing the staff review and working to see how we can streamline it more and be clearer. And we'll likely do some minimal public engagement around it. But we are working on that now that we finished our review of the comprehensive plan. And then otherwise, we've been very busy processing vacations, right? We continue to have a number filed each month that we take directly to the county council, but it's all part of the area plan, work plan. Other than that, it's not official, but Brittany has asked to not be reappointed in the agricultural interests. So it's timely that I ran through all of your appointments and how you're here, because she's asked to not be appointed for another year term. We're in the process of replacing her.
It's a great experience. I hope that the person who steps in has more of an agricultural background who can help give that insight.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thanks.
All right.
I have a quick question. Just
Sure.
what you said for the overlay, is that the second half that we never approved? That's just like the amendment of the architectural standards and all that that's gonna come through.
Sure. I'm looking at Carl and Fariel because this has definitely been a team effort and Carl has helped to start to reorganize it. Right, Carl?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the version that was passed included use restrictions and some modifications to the existing landscaping and a requirement for native landscaping in certain plantings. Not so much in like buffer areas where it has to be like an arborvitae, but in other landscaping materials. So what we are in the process of doing is bringing back some of the building standards and site design standards that we had originally put forward.
And then so we'll see that beginning of the year sometime and vote on that second half.
For the overlay, it's probably going to be a little longer timeline. I wouldn't anticipate being able to bring that back until mid-year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. No minutes to approve?
No. We will have double, triple minutes, triple sets for you. next
Two out of
month.
the three are done.
Okay. With that, do we have a motion for adjournment?
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. England,
Yes.
Ms. Gendron,
Yes.
Ms. Hannon,
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski,
Yes.
Dr. Thacker,
Yes.
Mr. Tavernier,
Yes.
Ms. McCombs,
Yes.
Mr. Hawley,
Yeah.
Mr. Devon.
Yes, meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh, you don't have to go back.